Demon Slayer is one of, if not the most popular anime going on right now as of 2025. Now, as y'all know, since it's what kickstarted my channel, I'm a huge fan, and I assume you are also a huge fan since you're watching this video, so you should be. Now, as a fan of Demon Slayer, and as you are a fan of Demon Slayer, as you're watching the anime or reading the manga, you would notice that the Demon Slayers are ran by the Demon Slayer Corps. Now, if you look at the Demon Slayer Corps, obviously since you're watching the show, you notice that it's ran kind of interestingly. And when I say interesting, I mean, it has some kind of obvious flaws, especially if you look at the context that Demon Slayer is ran in, which is obviously the Taisho era, which is stated at the end of every single episode, literally with its Taisho era secrets. The Taisho era takes place between 1912 and 1926, which, if you notice, is during and post World War I, which takes place between 1914 and 1918, or about 10 years before World War II, which starts at 1936, and as I mentioned before, the Taisho era ends in 1926. Now, as I just said that, you're probably starting to think of some major implications about Demon Slayer regarding the era that it takes place in, but don't worry, because you don't have to think too hard, because today, me, your boy Goldie, is going to explain what the Demon Slayer Corps is, some of its implications and flaws, especially based on the time era that it existed, and not just that, but just flaws in general, and some changes I might make to the Demon Slayer Corps as, you know, I see fit. So if you're excited just as much as I am to get into this, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you like this type of content and to join GOD. And while you're down there, might as well turn on post notifications so you don't miss the content that you like. And last but not least, just a friend or family member. Could be anybody. Could be a brother, sister, niece, nephew, son, daughter, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, granddad. Perfect timing. See the music cut off? As I just mentioned, that the Demon Slayer Corps takes place during the Taisho era, which I don't even need to state because it's stated by Tanjiro at the end of every single episode with his Taisho era secrets. Also, as I mentioned, that the Taisho era exists during and post World War I and 10 years before World War II. So you're probably already thinking of some major implications. I mean, you should be. I mean, I think you would already be doing that if you are a fan of Demon Slayer. You would probably already know that. But we're not going to get into that just yet. Because first, I'm going to explain what the Demon Slayer Corps is. Now, obviously, this is going to be quick and brief. So, you know, it won't take too long. Or at least I hope not. But the Demon Slayer Corps is, well, it's the organization that manages the demon slaying operations, right? So obviously its leader being called the Oyakata, which means master in Japanese, but it's very formal. You could just say sensei, but Oyakata is master or leader of an organization, but it's like very old-timey, like Taisho era, right? Which is obviously, of course, Kaguya Ubuyashiki, and then his son later during, you know, the Mugen Castle. I keep confusing Mugen Train and Mugen Castle because they're both Mugen. The Ubuyashiki family runs the Demon Slayer Corps. We know that they were cursed years ago because their family, I'm pretty sure it's stated, is a splinter of Muzan's family, or they're in the same kind of compound thing. But anyways, they were cursed that they would have to hunt down Muzan for the rest of their family's existence, and that's the only way to break the curse because they all die at like the age of 30. You know that disease that Kaguya has on his face. Basically, it kind of looks like the Byakugan, like Neji's like a real life actor and he's playing two different roles. Yeah, that's the curse. Because Muzan comes from their family, his leader's family got cursed, so all the heads die by like they just between like 20, 30. And so yeah, but since the curse it obviously breaks at the end of the story, spoiler, they defeat the big bad guy. His son lives to like the age of 100 or something in the OVA or whatever it is. But besides the leader, there are of course many officer roles, if you will, or offices. I don't know why I said officer roles. So obviously you have the cultivators, which is basically like Jigoro or Kodaki. Basically they're just like the trainers, so usually retired Hashira, things like that. Pretty self-explanatory. They train the next generation of demon slayers to become demon slayers, so on and so forth. You have the Kakushi, which is basically like I think his name is like Ghetto or something, but basically they're the aides or the helpers, the guys that wear all black and they have the mask on their face. Those are the Kakushi. They're basically just the aides, like the production team, if you will, the cleanup crew, if you will. You have the swordsmiths, which, you know, obviously that's what the whole swordsmith village arc is about. They make the swords, but they have multiple hidden villages, and they move from village to village so that demons can't track them. And they make special swords that can only be made from Nichiren ore, which is like basically it's like adamantium or vibranium for the Demon Slayer universe, and it's the only way to actually kill a demon. You have the Kasugai crows, which are the form of communication. They're talking crows, except for Zenitsu's, because Zenitsu is a robin and not actually a crow or something like that. Anyways, his can't talk because Zenitsu has special hearing. He can hear the vibrations in his chirps, and he can tell what he's trying to say because he has special hearing. The Kasugai crows can actually talk, and they're the ones that relay information and missions. Now I'm going to get into the actual Demon Slayer roles in a second, but first I'm going to talk about some of the major locations because I'm going to talk about that later too, so keep that in mind. Obviously, the main building, did I say mansions before? The main location is the Ubuyashiki mansion, which is where the headquarters is essentially. That's the Kage Ubuyashiki's personal house. So the mansion, the headquarters, is the personal house of the personal home of Kage Ubuyashiki, the leader, Oyakata-sama. Then there's the Butterfly Mansion, which is a mansion specific to, well, Shinobu, but previously her older sister Kanae, and that is the healing. That is basically the clinic or the hospital, if you will. But it's ran by Shinobu and previously her older sister. So it's her. So the Butterfly Mansion is Shinobu's personal home as well. That's where she lives. And then the last notable location, of course, is Mount Fujikasane, which is where Final Selection takes place. Final Selection is where Demon Slayers go after they finish their training with their cultivators, and their cultivators deem them ready. They are sent to Final Selection. It is a mountain covered in wisteria at the base, so that demons on the top can't leave the mountain because they will die to the wisteria. Wisteria poison is what Shinobu uses in her sword to, you know, obviously fight demons, because she can't slice off their head. So she uses a rapier with the poison. Obviously, we know this. So Final Selection is basically an entrance exam for the Demon Slayers to officially become Demon Slayers. So Demon Slayers in training can officially become Demon Slayers by surviving for a week. But they don't have to kill any of the demons there, they just have to survive. Which is obviously, as we know, how Giyu became a Hashira. He survived. Same thing with Marauder. Everybody during Giyu's class, including Marauder, were able to become Demon Slayers because obviously Sabito wiped them all out except for the hand demon, which Tanjiro kills. And that's how that class, Giyu and Marauder's class, become Demon Slayers, because they survived the 7 days because Sabito killed all the other demons. Now obviously there are other locations that are important in the Demon Slayer verse, but I'm just talking about the ones that are owned and specifically used by the Demon Slayer Corps. So now I'm gonna just run through all the Hashira and the ranks. There are 9 Hashira. We all know who the Hashira are. There's the Water Hashira Giyu, the Love Hashira Mitsuri, the Serpent Hashira Obanai Iguro, the Wind Hashira Senemi Shinazugawa, the Stone Hashira Gyome Himejima, the Mist Hashira Muichiro Tokito, Insect Hashira, which is Shinobu Kocho, as I mentioned earlier, the Flame Hashira, which is Kyojuro Rengoku, a fan favorite, and then of course Tengen Uzui, the Sound Hashira, also I guess a fan favorite. Well, I guess they're all kind of fan favorites, but I mean, yeah, Rengoku I think is probably the most popular. Now, why there are 9 Hashira, I'm not entirely sure why there's specifically 9, because the original Demon Slayer, the original Hashiras, there was only 6, which was the 5 foundational ones, and then sun breathing. And, you know, moon breathing was obviously Kokushibo or Mitsukachu Sugikuni, but he became a demon, so he wasn't part of the original Hashiras. But the original Hashiras, there were 6, which was Yorichi and the other 5 basic foundational forms, right, which is fire, wind, water, thunder, stone. Now there's no specific rule on which breathing styles the Hashira have to have in order to become a pillar, but in order to become a Hashira, there are only 2 ways. You have to kill 50 demons by yourself, so you have to kill 50 demons, or 2, you have to solo a member of the 12 Kizuki. And for example, that's how Kyojuro Rengoku became a Demon Slayer, because he slayed a member of the 12 Kizuki by himself in his Gaiden, his light novel. He killed like 3 demons in his light novel. I can't remember which one got him into him, because there was a dog demon, or it was a demon that can summon dogs. There's a demon that can summon guns from pocket dimensions, and there was another one. There was 3 demons that Kyojuro fought in his light novel, but I can't remember which one got him in. But I believe they were like what Rui's rank is now, maybe. So right under Hashira, there is the rank of Kinoue. Kinoue is what Rengoku is in his light novels. Sugoku is a rank given specifically to demon slayers that work under a specific Hashira. So Kanao is Sugoku to Shinobu. And then under that is Kinoto, Hinoue, Hinoto, Tsuchinoto, Kanoe, Kanoto, Mizunoe, and then Mizunoto. And Mizunoto is the rank that all the demon slayers start out after passing final selection. You are automatically a Mizunoto. During the Entertainment Village arc, Tanjiro, as we see, he shows us that he actually ranked up to, I believe, Kanoto or Kanoe, one of the K's. He ranked up to, as we see during the Entertainment Village arc, when he's sitting on the roof with a Nosuke and he shows off his rank. All of them ranked up. All of those three ranked up. Yeah, they're a Kanoe, including Murata, which is like, how? I guess Murata is living, like he's surviving somehow. So I guess that's how you're not dead. And that's kind of a theme in the Demon Slayer Corps. As long as you don't die, then props to you, gang. But yes, Kanao is always ranked higher than the main three that we follow. Or I guess 4. Or maybe 5 if you include Genya, but Kanao is always ranked higher. Let's go ahead and get into it, exactly how the Demon Slayer Corps is ran. So the way it's essentially ran is Kaguya, the leader, sends out his Kasugai Crows. The Kasugai Crows are the carriers of the mission. They are the messengers. They report to the Demon Slayer. So each Demon Slayer is given a Kasugai Crow and a sword, obviously, but each Demon Slayer member is given a Kasugai Crow after they pass final selection with their sword, and then that crow tells them about their next mission. And their next mission is usually regarding a demon that's in the local area. So hey, there's a demon right here, go kill them. And then when you win or lose, they report. If you lose, you die, but whether you defeat the demon or die, they report back to Kaguya. And then if you live, you get your next mission, which is the first flaw I'm actually going to point out. So as I mentioned, this is during and post World War I, 10 years before World War II. This is during the Taisho era, right? As the show states every single episode, right? So Japan has already gone through World War I by this point, started building up their empire. So while we're still using crows as a form of communication, like this is medieval times, not even like letters, crows. At this point, we have some type of technology. We have radios. We don't need talking crows if we have radios. Now, I suppose maybe they don't want to use radio because, okay, maybe the Demon Slayer, a demon could just hear when they kill the Demon Slayer, they could just report into the radio. But you can easily just put like a little self-destruction device on it, or when the Demon Slayer dies. I mean, this is a magical world, so when the Demon Slayer dies, the radio doesn't work anymore, right? And the same thing can be said for crows. I mean, you could just kill a crow. Like a demon could just kill a crow. I have a hard time believing that it'll be harder to kill a crow than to destroy a radio. Like, it's probably relatively equal, right? Because a demon could just kill a crow, and a crow is a life, like is alive, has a life. So the demon could just inject the Kasugai crow with its blood and maybe turn it against, I don't know how exactly that works, but maybe turn it to a demon crow and then have it work for, I don't know if it works like that. I think a radio, and even just take away the magical elements, right? Gang, we have better technology, and it's not like these are just random people. This is a Demon Slayer Corps, right? These are military trained people. These people these are the same people that have gone through World War I. Japan has already gone through World War I at this point, or is in the middle of it at this point, even before it a little bit, because Taisho era starts in 1912. Now, I don't know which specific year this takes place in. I know it takes place during 2 years, because Tanjiro goes from 14 at the start to 16. So I don't know if that's 12 to 14 or 24 to 26, right, in the Taisho era, which is relatively short era. Either way, just simply use radios. Why are we using crows? Why are we using letters? Radio is right there. And this is World War I, right? So they can have code talk. Because the Kasuga crows, they can talk, like the code breakers, right? They could just talk in code, like a regular military would. It's not like, hey, Steve, did you kill that demon? Make sure this is this demon blood art. They can speak in code. That'd be way more. I mean, the Demon Slayer Corps is very involved in secrecy. That's what they're all about. I mean, look at the Swordsmith Village arc. They're all about secrecy. I'm sure they can come up with a code. If they can figure out how to make crows talk, I'm pretty sure they can come up with code talk, if you know what I mean. But let me move on and let me not talk too much. So the Kasuga Crows carry out the mission to the Demon Slayers, right? And the Demon Slayers, as I mentioned before, right after final selection, the first two things they get is a crow and a sword. A sword. Now, I just mentioned that this is during and post, a little bit before, World War I. And even before World War I, they had guns. They had guns during the Sengoku era. The first ever guns were, what, blunderbuss? Not blunderbuss. I forget what they're called. Aquabus, which is basically like a Portuguese gun, right? It's very, very slow. Okay, this is like in the 1800s. Okay, no, not no. This is like during the 1600s, right? The Sengoku era Japan. And the ammunition, they're like one singular ball of like lead, basically, and you stick it in the gun and then you shoot it, and then you got to take this little stick and you got to clean out the gunpowder, whatever it is, the residue, and then you put another one of those balls in there and you got to load it up and then you got to shoot it. Very slow. Oda Nobunaga, the first ever, like, I guess, warlord of Japan, the first major warlord of Japan, Oda Nobunaga, used this gun in order to gain power over the rest of Japan that didn't use guns yet. Right, so we've had guns for the past 200-300 years at this point during the Taisha era, right? Because this is the 1912s, 1900s. We've very modern guns at this point because it's World War I, right? So modern in terms of, it's not like they're still using the arquebus, okay? This is World War I technology, and you're not using that to kill demons. I'm pretty sure they can make Nichiren bullets. I mean, look at Genya. You don't even have to have breathing styles. Just shoot them. I mean, you can see it clearly works. I mean, Genya was popping caps in Hantengu. His head was popping off every 5 seconds. Now, it didn't work against Hantengu because every time you chop off his head, a new body grows which matches a new emotion. But like, imagine if he popped a cap. Think about this, right? Imagine if Genya was there during the Entertainment District arc and he was doing it against Daki and Girotaro. 2 bullets, 1 for each head. Pow pow, dead. Imagine that. If he could pop off Hantengu head like that, imagine Gyutaro or Rui, Enmu. Because he has a shotgun. Imagine an AR, which we have those at this, but this is World War I. We have ARs loaded up with Nichiren bullets. A whole field of demons dead. Let Tanjiro up the blick on fools, and not even just guns. If you really think about it, if like Tanjiro or Kaguya just waited like 10-20 more years, guess what happens to Japan in 10-20 years from the end of the Taisho era? Well, more so 20. Nukes. If they just waited for like 20 more years, they're like, hey, we don't even need to kill Muzan right now. Just wait a good 20 years. Fuck sun breathing. Fuck guns. Take a taste of the real sun. Boom. Sun breathing. 14th form. Nuke. Okay, I'm the bad guy for mentioning nukes in Japan in the same sentence. Okay. Well, thank me later when Muzan packed up. Okay, all you see is a red mist floating through the air. When I say red mist, I'm talking about his blood turning to flames and him dying, him getting burnt up in the sun of a nuke. But I digress. So let me continue on. The first major change I would make is radios. Second major change I would make, guns. Bump the Swordsmith Village arc, Gunsmith Village arc. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump to when we reach the Hashiras, right? Because I don't want this video to be too long, right? And I don't want to be yapping too much, right? So we're gonna go ahead and jump when we meet the Hashiras, right? The Hashira are the 9 pillars, right? They're the 9 top demon slayers, right? And as Sanemi mentions before, that demon slayers are getting weaker and weaker, or becoming more and more useless, essentially, because they're not being trained well, and also because they're not really encountering as much demons as the Hashira do. Because the Hashira, if we kind of look at how the missions are spread out, the Hashira are taking up majority of the jobs, essentially, because Hashira are able to slice them. That's why Sanemi and Obanai complain so much that they're not really finding too many upper ranks to fight. They're just dealing with a lot of the random lower rank demons, right? I mean, they cleared out a whole castle of demons, right? And most Hashira That's what they're doing. Most Hashira are taking out majority of the demons. There's not too many demons for the lower ranking demon slayers to kill, and that's why they're getting sloppier, and that's what Tsunemi mentions, and that's why they have the training arc, because these newer demon slayers aren't encountering demons as much. And if we actually think about it, I watched another video about this before. I forget which video it was. I was watching a demon slayer video, demon slayer explain video, whatever. It was like a whole statistical thing. If I find the video, then I might link it in the description below. But basically, there's like most demon slayers are not even gonna experience one demon in a year. Like, based on how many demons there are and how many demon slayers there are, the majority of the demon slayer core is only gonna fight like one demon a year. Now, you're probably gonna point at Tanjiro and the main crew, but the thing is that Tanjiro and the main crew, like, they're the main characters. So obviously they're going to move at a much crazier pace, especially since Tanjiro is determined. Like, Tanjiro is one of a kind. Obviously, he's the progenitor, or he's the successor of sun breathing. Like, he's one of a kind, and we're following his story. So obviously the main character story is going to be interesting and crazy. But most demon slayers, I mean, we even see it in at the end of the Hashira training arc. The demon slayers that are going on patrol, they see a demon and they start freaking out. They never seen a demon before in person. I'm pretty sure maybe one of them mentions it, and it's the Biwa lady with the eyes, right? And they start tweaking, right? One of them, I think it's packed up instantly, something like that. So another major change I would make, I would only have the Hashira go after the upper moons, and that's it exclusively, right? Like, for example, Murata survived this long. And if Murata is able to survive this long, I'm pretty sure literally anybody is able to survive this long, okay? Because as we see, I don't know if it's in the anime yet, but at least in the manga, we have demon slayers literally, and even when the demon slayers, right before the Hashira training arc, when Tsunemi and Obana went to go take out that castle, the demon slayers, the sucky ones, were jumping the other demons. Like, they were jumping, like they were working together. So that's what I would do. Instead of sending one demon slayer at a time to go on a mission like we see with Tanjiro, I would send like four or five, you know, because remember when we saw Rengoku for the first time, he had his little cohort, right? He had his little cohort of demon slayers, and he told him to stay back. Anyways, I would send them like in a little party, like, go after there's a demon over here, I want y'all five to jump that mother. Okay, that's what I would do. And I would save the upper moons exclusively for Hashira. Therefore, the minor demon slayers can grow, learn, because most demon slayers can't even use breathing styles. I mean, they can, but you can't see it. Most of them are like Murata. Tanjiro and the main gang and Canal are all special. Everybody else sucks, trash. You can't even see their abilities. You can't even see their breathing styles, right? They're all like surviving final selection. But Tanjiro was out here like Sabito. He was wiping all the demons out. That's another thing about final selection that I was going to mention earlier, is that with final selection, you don't survive for a week. You have to kill at least maybe one demon a day. You have to kill 7 demons in a week, right? That's what I'd probably do. Like, every day you have to kill one demon. Or maybe you don't have to kill one demon a day, but you have to kill 7 demons by the end. They don't have to be the hand demon. Okay, that's an exception. If you kill him, you become a Hashira. Okay, not really, but you probably get, you can become a Sengoku to a Hashira or something. But I would make the demon slayers fight, not just have them exist. Right? It's not good enough for them to exist. They need to fight. So in final selection, I would make it a requirement that you at least kill a week full of demons. So 1 demon a day, 7 demons, something like that, right? And then you can pass final selection. If you don't do that, you can't leave. You can't leave until you have your fill. And if you die, you die. Natural selection, you suck. Okay, we don't need you in the core, no way. Go back to being a farm boy or something. With the cultivators, I would make it so that, for example, people like Zenitsu can't exist. Zenitsu is an exception. Obviously, it's an anime, so it's going to be cool. But you need to learn every single form of the breathing style that you're working under before you're able to move on to final selection. For the anime, okay, I get it. Oh, but Zenitsu didn't need to. It's an anime, dog. Duh. But like, realistically speaking, I would like just core fundamental skills, literally core, the Demon Slayer core. How a good business is ran is you hit all your bases, right? Sorry, I hit the mic. You hit all your bases. So every demon slayer has to master that breathing style that they're working under, their cultivator, and has to learn all the forms, maybe not master it, but learn all the forms before they can move on, right? Tanjiro did, everybody did, except for freaking Zenitsu, right? So that's what I would do, right? And if you can't, then you can't become a demon slayer. You can't go through final selection until you learn that. And I'd probably give it about a year because that's how long Tanjiro and Zenitsu and everybody else had, was about a year. Well, I think Tanjiro was actually 2 years, so I'll probably make it like 2 years. Yeah, because Tanjiro started at 14, went through final selection at 16. So I'll give you 2 years about, and if you can't do that, then you gotta either switch after 2 years. You either gotta switch to another cultivator, another breathing style, or you just gonna have to lose you, gang. We can't use you, gang. Facts. So every 2 years, you have to switch to another breathing style, master your own, like what Mitsuri did, Shinobu did, Tengen did. You'd have to master your own breathing style, or you'd have to just leave, right? Or switch. After 2 years, you gotta switch, master your own, or leave. And then you wouldn't just be on your own. You would still, like, obviously you would work in groups. So you'd have like a sergeant leader. So the higher ranking, like for example, a Kinoue, right, would be in charge of like a cohort of like lesser demon slayers, right? So each rank would be in charge of a lesser rank of demon slayers, and they would kind of be their new cultivator. Like they would just help them train and like do drills and stuff, like an actual like organization, that like an actual militaristic organization, right? So like the higher ranking ones would be in charge of the lower ranking ones, and they would do drills and train, master their breathing styles. And I would try to put them in similar like groups. So like this is a group of water breathers, this is a group of flame breathers, well, I guess not flame breathers, but this is a group of wind breathers, so on and so forth, right? And they would train together, and or maybe they'd have like maybe you can do like, or like you can mix up the groups to keep them like, okay, well, you have thunder, you have water, you have this, you have that, so that they can maybe try to borrow each other's skills, like what Tanjiro did with Zenitsu's thunder breathing in the legs. But it's not actually thunder breathing, it's actually part of sun breathing, because sun breathing is all the forms put together. So it's just foreshadowing to Tanjiro mastering sun breathing, but so it's not actually thunder breathing. I mean, it is, but it's like it's originally sun breathing. So because thunder breathing and all the forms are based off sun breathing, so you know what I'm saying, don't, you know what I'm saying, so yeah, do your research, gang. Actually, so that's what I would have. And I would have it more like, okay, you're not just being by yourself and learning how to figure out how to do your skills. Like you would actually have a cohort that you'd be a part of, in that, things like that. Also, this is something I was going to mention before, is that Tsunemi also mentioned that originally he proposed that Kage have Hashira bodyguards, right? At least 2 standing in front of the mansion of the house, so that Muzan situation can't happen where he just pulls up, right? And Kage said, no, because I want you all on the battlefield. No, well, Kage, I'm going to have to override you here, because your boy Goldie's in charge today, and you're going to get Hashira. Not just 2, but you're going to get like a whole, like you're going to get like 4 Hashira, okay? 2 on the front sides, and then 2 in the back. And speaking of Hashira, I wouldn't just have 9 Hashira. That's kind of an arbitrary number. I would either have like a whole bunch, like 20, or I wouldn't have a specific number, like, because it's kind of arbitrary, because the original Hashira were 6, but now there's 9, right, as I mentioned, right? So there wouldn't be a max. You could just, if you accomplish one of the skills, you can become a Hashira. So it wouldn't be like, okay, well, we have a water Hashira, so we can have another water Hashira. No, gang, we can have like 6 water Hashiras. Okay, if you meet the criteria, you are a Hashira. I'm not gonna have this, oh well, sorry buddy, but I'm the wind Hashira, you can't be no, gang, you need to be a wind Hashira with me. We can do drills and stuff together, okay? We can cook together, okay? That's what I would have, right? So multiple Hashiras, like you can as many Hashiras you want. If you kill 50 demons by yourself, or solo a 12 Kizuki member, you are a Hashira. You get a Sogoku. Also, speaking of Hashiras, every Hashira gets their own mansion, okay? We're not just having Shinobu gets her mansion. No, gang, everyone gets their mansion, okay? I know Giyu does, but we never see it. And I guess we can assume everybody has their own mansion, but each Hashira mansion, like, it would be like, this is the water Hashira mansion, this is the thunder Hashira mansion. Whichever breathing style is in the Hashira, like if there's a water Hashira, then there would be a water Hashira mansion, and all the water Hashiras would be in that mansion, and so on and so forth. Shinobu can have her own thing with Kanao, and that family can have theirs, right? But all the other breathing styles, they need to have their own mansion, right? Except for like the ones like sound breathing, because that's not really, I mean, if there's like a whole bunch of sound breathers, then yeah, we can have a mansion before, but that's like Tengen created that himself, so he could just have his own house, but it wouldn't be like a mansion, because I mean, he already has his house anyways as like as a ninja, so it's a shinobi. So I mean, he can just keep his house too. But Gyu's house, all the water Hashiras, not water breathers, all the water Hashiras would live in Gyu house. Okay, with Gyu, and they'd have, you know, it'd be like a cohort, right? And then you would do kind of like Tanjiro did with his training with Aoi in Canal. They would do training there together, and they would do basically it would be the Hashira training arc, but constantly, like damn near 24/7. And they would do missions, right? So as they're doing missions, they're also trained together. Like it'd be like a more militaristic. Like, I mean, this is World War I we're talking about. Okay, so this isn't too far fetched. We've already done this, gang. We're probably going, or we're going through it right now at this time of Taisho era. So I would have them in cohorts. They would do missions together. They would train together. Whenever they get missions, they would go on together, and so on and so forth, right? So it'd be more, I guess, foolproof. It wouldn't be so like, okay, well, you go on your mission by yourself and hope you live. And obviously it'd be radio and not freaking, but they would also have guns. Maybe they have a sword and a gun. Like maybe they can have like a little pistol, because actually if you look, and you're probably thinking, well, they probably don't have guns like that. Like that's probably just like a real life thing. Maybe in that world they don't have guns. Fact check. Rengoku's light novel, mentioned it before. Remember where I talked about the gun demon? Yeah, the gun demon, he can basically he has Kamui, right, from Naruto, and basically he opens up his Kamui dimension and he pulls out ARs and light machine guns, submachine guns, Gatling guns, any type of weapon you would see in a war like World War One. You know, he has that, and he can just spawn them out of pocket dimensions, right? So he could just spawn an infinite amount of guns. Don't sit here and tell me they wouldn't have guns. Yes, they should. So shut up. These changes make sense. Don't argue with me. I'm right, and I'm not right because I'm me. I'm right because I'm using facts and logic. So don't be coming out here in the comments like, oh, in the clip, well, Goldie here, they wouldn't use guns. Yes, they would. Rengoku fought a motherfucker that spawns guns out of his Kamui dimension. Don't argue. I'm right. Shut up. Facts. God damn it. And everything I've stated in this video has already been mentioned, right? Like the bodyguards, Tsunemi mentioned that. The fact that demon slayers aren't fighting demons, aren't encountering demons, that's been stated in the show by Tsunemi. The fact that demon slayers are weak, the fact that Hashira are slaughtering most of the demons and not leaving any jobs for the weaker Hashira, mentioned. The fact that demon slayers are going on missions by themselves and not able to deal with that. All of this has been stated in the show itself. So I'm not pulling out my ass. I'm pulling out from facts. And if you're arguing with a fact, then how are you alive, gang? You're not a real human. You cannot argue with a factual statement. I don't know what you are, but you need to get out of here, because we talk about facts and logic over here. All the ideas I'm coming up with have festered off of things that were stated in the show and manga. Now, I've recorded for long enough, so I don't really want to go on for too much longer. These are just some of the major flaws and major changes I would make to it. There's probably some more I can throw in there. I guess the last thing I'll say was that each Hashira, there has to be at least one Hashira for each of the major breathing styles, besides Sun and Moon, obviously. But like, there has to be at least one Thunder Hashira, at least one Water Hashira, at least one Flame, at least one so on and so forth, right? Because, fun fact, there's in every single iteration of the Hashira, there's always been at least a Flame Hashira and a Water Hashira. It's a fun fact. It's a Taisho era secret, right? And so I would require Rengoku teach somebody else other than Mitsuri and his little brother. I would order for Rengoku to find somebody to teach flame breathing, because we can't let flame breathing die out. Or to teach multiple people, not just have one Sugoku, one people, to have like freaking 20. So one of them has to learn flame breathing, okay? We can't lose that. Maybe have his father teach somebody, right? That's what I would honestly do. Like, I would force Rengoku. This is World War I, okay? This is the draft, okay? We have the draft. So I would force Rengoku, Shinjiro, to teach somebody else flame breathing, right? Like, this is redemption for being a suck-ass father to your dad and not wanting to teach him, or for refusing to teach him and ripping up the book. You have to teach like 100 more people how to do flame breathing. And like, it'd be like a Hashira training arc where like you go to Shinjiro's mansion and everybody there has to try to learn flame breathing, and the people that succeed or are good at it are set to become the next flame Hashira, so on and so forth. You get what I mean? Facts. So that's all I really have to say for today. I don't really want to record for too much longer. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts about my list, or not really list, but let me know your thoughts about my changes, some of the flaws I pointed out. Let me know if there are more flaws down in the comments that you would change or you've thought of. If there's anything else I missed, any other flaws I missed, let me know in the comments. Any other changes you would make, put down in the comments. Or if you like one of my changes but you would tweak a little bit, let me know down in the comments. Maybe comment down, oh, I didn't know this about this, I didn't know this about this, whatever it is. Comment whatever you want, and while you're down there commenting, make sure to like and subscribe to join GLD and to let me know you like this type of content. And since you like this type of content, make sure to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the content that you literally liked. And last but not least, you just tell a friend or a family member. It could be anybody. It helps the channel grow, the content grow, and you don't have to watch alone. It could be your brother, sister, niece, nephew, son, dad, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, granddad. My name is Goldie, aka GOD. Join the family. And that's all we got to say for today. So anyways, bye bye.